Hello everyone, welcome to the Witching Hour. If you are new here, my channel revolves around discussing fantasy and science fiction shows and movies. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. I had a hard time deciding if I was going to watch Masters of the Universe Revelation, much less review it. In the end, I decided that I wouldn't rely upon other people's opinions and would watch it and form my own. I want to first say that I wholeheartedly believe that women deserve strong, dynamic, intelligent characters. But it pisses me off that these writers and producers pander to us and just give us sloppy seconds. It's the laziest shit I've ever seen. I'm not going to do a recap of each episode, and will only be recapping moments that pertain to my review. So there will be some spoilers. As always, if you haven't watched a show, you may want to do so before watching this video. The main reason that I'm not going to do a full recap is because it's a shit show. I can recall reading a book years ago in sociology class called The McDonaldization of Society. It's a catchy name that has stuck with me for quite some time. As I was thinking of the show, it struck me that this show, and many like them, are the bastardization of 80s and 90s pop culture. I'm not going to say that I was the biggest He-Man fan ever, because I wasn't. I did watch it and enjoyed the show in my youth. I can remember sitting next to my big brother and watching He-Man and She-Ra, so of course I cared more about She-Ra than I did He-Man. But I still liked the show and its wide range of characters. One of my favorite characters at the time was Teela. It's probably because I am a girl, so I did identify with her more. She was beautiful, strong, loyal, capable. I really feel like they took the Teela that I know and loved and destroyed her. She lost all her femininity, brains, and loyalty. I can no longer identify with that character. It's sad that women are no longer allowed to be curvy, beautiful, and smart. They have to be masculine, brutish, and to be quite honest, complete twats. She spends 75% of her show being a whiny bitch with a pissy attitude. I think it's a case of roid rage. She has no story arc. She goes into the show a total ass and leaves the same way. There's not a grateful bone in her entire body. Teela, Teela, Teela. She's a self-absorbed moron. If after all these years, you didn't put two and two together and figure out that Adam is He-Man, or at least consider the idea, then you have no one to blame but yourself. At the end of the day, she serves at the pleasure of the Queen, King, and even Prince Adam, but she doesn't think so. These people lost their only son, and she makes it all about her. And evidently, the writers don't know shit about grief, because they sure did skip right past denial and shock and put her straight into anger. I have no problem with her eventually getting to the point that she's angry for being lied to, but I don't think that should be her first and only emotion. The main emotion we see out of her is varying degrees of anger, and the sense of entitlement just oozes out of her. They could have just named the show The Angry Faces of Teela. And the few times we see real emotion out of her, it goes right back to the angry look. I'm not even going to talk about He-Man or Adam because his role is so small that it's not even worth mentioning. And that should speak volumes. If they insisted on doing the whole changing of the guard thing, they could have and should have went about it differently. At least the first 3 to 4 episodes should have been He-Man kicking ass and taking names with his allies fighting right alongside of him. If they insisted on bringing Teela front and center, there should have been a build up to it. They also shouldn't have done the whole bait and switch thing from the trailer to the show. They made it appear that this would be like old school He-Man, and it wasn't. We were told it was going to be a continuation and that there would be no major character changes, but that was BS. They killed Adam off in the very beginning. He was gone most of the show except for flashbacks, then he returned towards the end just to die again. And there are rumors that they're going to bring him back in part 2, but if they do that, I almost think it'll be worse. What are they going to do? Act like The Walking Dead with the multiple deaths of Glenn? It got to the point where a lot of fans didn't even care when Glenn actually died. I don't know where they go from here, and quite frankly, I don't care. The animation was pretty good. There was a few things that felt off about it, like He-Man's very distracting nipples and Teela's freakish man hands. Oh, and when Adam turned into He-Man, the part where he gets his loincloth was odd. For a split second, it looked like he was growing a tail. Now you need to understand that this comes from someone that has the artistic ability of a toddler. The acting was fine. I wasn't a big fan of Chris Wood's portrayal of He-Man, but again, he wasn't in there long enough to matter. Lena Headey as Evelyn felt like a watered-down version of Cersei. The other acting was just so-so. There were no standout performances at all. But to be honest, it doesn't matter how great your animation is or how good or bad the actors are when it's a literal shit show. The only thing that this show has encouraged me to do is rewatch the original, and that'll be the version I watch with my kids. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Did you bother watching it? Are you waiting with bated breath for part 2? Or were you like me, less than impressed? If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Have a great day.